So I haven't talked about Chainsaw Man on this channel just yet. I plan to do that either later today or tomorrow, but you guys are probably wondering why am I bringing up Chainsaw Man, or maybe you're not. You know exactly where I'm going with this, but we have two Barky Boys. That to me is insane. Our main character literally just went woof. That is insane. Now I don't know what are the chances of that. Did these anime studios collude together? Did this anime see Chainsaw Man was like, hey, they're gonna air at the same time. Let's just put this in there. Or did this actually happen? I don't even know. What are the chances? It's just perfect. Our main character is a dog now. Unbelievable. So in the previous episode, we remember his squad of girls. They decided to just leave, and now we finally get the answer to that in the beginning of this episode. They decide to leave because they're going to fight the Cult of Diablos. And our main character is like, oh, they just grew up. They don't really believe that lie that I told them. Not even knowing that what he's probably said was not a lie. And that's funny. I want to see how that plays into the story later. But I am interested to know why they didn't want him to come along. He is stronger than all of them. And he'd probably be a valuable asset to fight the Cult of Diablos. So it's interesting that they didn't want him to come along unless it's for another reason, but who knows? We will see though. So yeah, our main character now, he's a little bit older now. He's 15. And that means he gets to go to the school, and he is going to that school. But he's going to try to keep up this facade of being a background character. He's going to hide all his strength and everything. And to come with him, he has two friends now. He has two friends that he has in that school that are also going to be deemed as background characters, which is kind of messed up, but you know what? It is what it is. But I don't think these characters are going to be all that useful. But you never know; they might decide to take it the opposite way, and they might have some sort of big use in the future. I don't know. But for now, they're just the background characters' friends, which is perfect for him. And speaking of background, before I forget, I just want to talk about the background scenes in this anime. Like, there were a few scenes that I saw in this anime when they were panning out that I just thought looked kind of cool. And I was like, oh, that's surprisingly well done for this anime. I liked it. And when they were panning out and you see all the houses out in the distance, I like that they didn't have it all arranged in a circle like they would in other isekais like Konosuba, and there's a few more isekais that do that, but you guys know what I mean. It just has this very typical isekai feel, the town or village or whatever it is. I'm glad that they kind of deviated away from that. They made it look a little bit more unique, and I liked the way it looked. It looked pretty cool to me. I just wanted to bring that up. So let's talk about the school a little bit now. We have a new character that we get when we go to this school, Princess Alexia. And our main character is going to confess to her. Why? Well, it's because he performed the worst in this exam or something like that. He performed the worst and now he has to confess to her. And of course, he's not all that serious. He tries to play it up and try to seem as nervous as possible, which I thought was weird at first, and then it made sense to me. I was like, oh, yes, of course. If he gets a princess on his side, I mean, he's going to stand out too much. And you know what? It's funny. I'm going to compare this to Iruma-kun as well, because Iruma, if you haven't seen it already, is like a character that is trying to do everything in his power to just not stand out, but it just seems like everything he does just makes him stand out more, despite his best efforts not to. And this is the same case here. Our main character doesn't want to stand out. He's going to stand out now, because the princess is like, okay, sure, I accept. And it's like, and the main character's like, what? It's like, okay, well, now he has a princess on his side. Like, way to stand out now. But yeah, this princess, though, she's not necessarily a good character, but she's also not a bad character. She's just a character that has her own issues, and she's trying to get them resolved. And our main character kind of just got dragged into that. And she's going to use our main character to try to weasel her way out of this situation that she's in. And the situation, well, she already is in a prearranged marriage with this guy, and I don't actually really know his name, but I'll just put his image on the screen. But yeah, it's this guy, and yeah, she has to kind of get married with him, and she's like being a little bit rebellious. Is like, no, no, I don't want to. So I'm just gonna have this fake boyfriend for the time being. And she also has her issues with being weaker than her sister, and it just seems like her and her sister are just being antagonistic towards each other, and there's like this huge rivalry between the two of them. But yeah, but this princess, she's a little bit manipulative. The way that she's trying to trap our main character into kind of just following her whim, and the way she's also coercing him and trying to convince him as well. She's just throwing the coins, and the main character's like, "You don't think I'm the kind of guy that would be influenced by money, would you? Because you're right." And he just chases after the coin like a dog. He's like, "Woof!" And I'm like, "Denji, is that you?" I was like, I couldn't believe that when I saw it. I was like, "Oh, that's just crazy." That was my favorite scene of this episode. It was just way too funny, especially after I saw Chainsaw Man episode 2, and I see this one immediately the next day. I was like, "Wow, that's just crazy. What are the chances of that?" That to me was just the funniest thing. But I already mentioned that in the first minute of this video. But that being said, not a whole lot necessarily happened in this episode, but I definitely found it really entertaining. Yeah, just our main character is now kind of getting involved with the princess. They're talking, and the princess is kind of a little bit of a brat. She's just kind of treating our main character pretty trash like, which makes sense. She's a royal. He's not. He's like the lowest of low, which is exactly what he wants. And I just find it funny the way these two characters are interacting. She needs him to kind of do it he needs her to do, and then he also wants to get away from her because like this is attracting way too much attention to me. Well, most of that attention is going to the princess, but it's like still I'm kind of caught in the light of this. It's like I don't want to be in the light here. So that is pretty interesting, but there's this last scene where they're just in the train. They're kind of having this little, not necessarily argument, but I'll call it like a mini argument. Like the main character is saying he likes her fencing style, and the princess is like, "No, I don't like my fencing style. This is just trash." And then after the end of that scene, she just leaves the train and she disappears from there. It's like we don't see her. And yeah, this leads us to our last scene, and this is actually a pretty crazy cliffhanger. Our main character is going back to school now with his friends, and he's surrounded by the guy that she's supposed to marry and a bunch of other people, and they all have their swords out, and they're like, "Hey, the princess didn't return, and we suspect she was kidnapped by you." Now, how would he have kidnapped her? Don't ask me. They think he's not even all that strong, but they somehow believe he did something, which makes sense. I mean, she was last seen with him, that would make sense, but how he would do it, don't even ask me. I don't know how he would do it. But yeah, they suspect him. They have him all surrounded, him and his friends. And yeah, the best thing he can do is just submit. He's not going to fight them. That's just way too crazy of a thing to do. He probably could fight him. I'm not exactly sure on the power scaling, but he seemed pretty powerful in the previous episode. I imagine he could put up a fight with everybody there. But like I said, yeah, he doesn't want to do that, obviously. That's way too crazy. And yeah, here's another thing the princess kind of tied him down to, kind of messed with our main character's plans a little bit. He is in trouble now. So that's an interesting cliffhanger. I'm curious to see where it will go. Where did the princess go? Is our main character going to be able to get out of this situation? Who knows? We're going to see in the next episode. But yeah, I did enjoy this episode a lot, and I wonder if you guys enjoyed it too. Let me know in the comments down below. My name is DBC, and if you guys haven't done so already, I want you guys to hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be doing anime reviews for anime like this one, Mob Psycho, Chainsaw Man, Iruma-kun, and other animes as well. And I'm also going to be doing anime music covers, so definitely stay tuned for that. And also don't forget to hit that like button as well. I'd really appreciate it. I'm signing out. Thank you guys.